Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, in this video I want to show you how to get amazing black and white in total homage of the great Ansel Adams that are not washed out, that are very powerful and that will create an impact. Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, my name is Serge Germany. I'm a French photographer living in the USA, but I'm originally from the amazing, the incredible city of Paris, France. And about 10 years ago, I did a book on Paris in black and white, which you can see here. It was a big, nice book, and I spent a lot of time studying the work of Ansel Adams, including this book called The Negative, which is really hard. I mean, what he had to go through to get great black and white is incredible. If you don't know who Ansel Adams is, he is an amazing American photographer. He's considered one of, if not the best landscape photographer of all times. And he worked very much on what we call the zone system, which was a way to capture as much as possible of information into one photo. You see, film, and I shoot a lot on film these days, have a much smaller dynamic range. It's really hard to get all the highlights and the shadows that we get on our amazing Sony, Fuji, Canon, Nikon cameras today. So he worked out the zone system to get that, and then he developed an incredible complex dodge and burn system to get incredible black and white photos. You may want to ask, what is dodge and burn? Well, he quoted dodge and burn to be dodging burning as a steps to take a mistake God made in establishing total relationship. Basically, what he did is he had like a system, for example, when he would print a negative where he would project a negative onto a positive paper. Longer you would project the positive, more you would get a burn result. So it would burn the negative onto the positive paper. But let's say you wanted to make something brighter, so he would use like a little spoon like this to make this a little bit brighter. Or the reverse, if you want to make, just one item really dark and everything else bright, you can use like a paper with holes like this. I mean, can you imagine how hard it is? This is one of his most famous photos, the before photo. It's called Moon over Hernandez. This is the before photo, before darkroom processing. And this is the final result. See how the sky went from like grayish to black? And like look at the light here on the clouds compared to how it was before. It's totally washed out here. I mean, it totally changed the photo. That is one of the most famous photo of Ansel Adams. Another one that's really famous is, for example, the tunnel view shots. I mean, look at the tunnel range. You have really dark tones, you have gray tones, and you have very bright tones, okay? And I see a lot of people doing black and white today, and it's kind of washed out. So we don't want that. So I'm going to show you how to do this in Lightroom I'm going to start with the same view, the tunnel view, as an homage to his work. This is a lone exposure that I shot, and I'm going to convert it to black and white, and I'm going to show you how you can Ansel Adams this sort of techniques to really make it dramatic. So first thing first, I'm going to go to black and white, and voila, it's finished. No, so you go to black and white in Lightroom, and then you have to go to the black and white mixed here. And basically the black and white mix, the way it works is that you've got different colors like red, orange, yellow. And what it does, let's take for example, I think there was quite some blue in this photo. Yeah, you see the blue here. If I move to the right, it's going to make the blue brighter. If I move to the left, it's going to make the blue darker. Now, remember how Ansel Adams always had like black skies here. So we kind of want to get as black sky as possible. So I'm going to move that blue dark. Now, you don't want to do it too much. If you do it too much, like minus 100, what's going to happen is you're going to get some artifact. You see this weird patch of pixel? That's because there's too much contrast. So I have a rule is I usually don't go like minus 44 or 48. You can play around with the other tones like aqua. I'm going to make aqua a bit darker. Green, why not? You just move things around and see if it does something to your photo. Okay, for example, orange does something. So if I go here, I want to get more details in El Capitan, and it seems to be working if I move this to the right. But again, try not to go over 40 or 50 on your settings. So, and the next thing you can do to maybe darken the sky is play around with the white balance. Check this out. If I go right and I add some yellow, the sky becomes very bright. If I go to the left, the sky becomes a bit darker. But also, don't overdo it either. It's going to look weird. So just a little tad. You will see there is a lot more tools we can do to make this good. Okay, so something like this is kind of okay. So that's my starting point. Okay, now I've done a basic conversion. Now what I do, and this is the power of the zone system that we don't need to have here in digital, is we have so much data. Check this out. I'm going to open the shadows and pa-bam! I can see all that's inside of the shadows. And I'm going to bring down the highlights a little bit, and I can see a lot of details there. Now, it's still very washed out. It's still not like Ansel Adams-y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my black point, which is here, and I'm going to make sure that a good portion, like about 2-3% of the photo, is completely black. How do you do that? Very simple, and thank you for asking. You take the Option key on a Mac or the Alt key on the keyboard, and you move your black slider, and you're going to see here, what you see here, all the black points are points which are 100% black. There is no more information. And you want some of that. You don't want too much. That would be too much. That would be not enough. And somewhere along like this, I kind of like that. Same thing with the white. You hold on the Option key on a Mac or the Alt key on Windows, and you move to the right. Bam, bam, bam. And what you see here in white is dots which are 100% white. Now, if I were to print this photo now, this section here where there is this white point would be literally just paper. We don't want that. So I'm going to bring it. So the whites, I don't do like the blacks. I go at the threshold. I don't want any white. Okay, so now we have a basic black and white. We start having some details, but it's not enough. It's not enough because we don't have the tone range that we really want. The eyes of the viewer is kind of confused where to look. And I don't have my black sky that Ansel Adams loves so much. So how can I do this? Well, I'm going to take a gradient tool here, double click on Effect, lower the exposure, and click and drag. Okay? And I do it one time with like a value of like minus 0.71. Pretty big, meaning that gradient I can make it very small, I can make it very big. I want it to be very big. Now you see what's happening is now that it's going to make El Capitan top a bit darker. I don't necessarily want that. So you can go here to range mask off, you can go to luminance, and you can move this to the right a little bit. And what that's going to do is going to create a mask. It basically, let me show you. If I move this about here, like 61 to 100, and after, you see that it only influences the sky, okay? But it's not black enough yet. So you know what? Let's do another one. Hey. Now and this one I'm going to make it more on top and even stronger. You know, he loved to really block out the top of the image to focus the attention inside of the photo. I like that. And you know what? While I'm at it, I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom here. I'm going to make a very strong one. I'm going to click and drag and make maybe not as strong. I'm already liking this. But it needs some dodging, meaning we need to I want to make some parts of the mountain a little bit brighter just to focus the attention of the viewer, just like if I would be using that amazing spoon that he used to use. So how do we do that? Well, I'm going to take a little radial filter here. And same thing, I'm going to double click on effect. It's going to put everything down to 0. I'm going to go over this waterfall and I'm just going to add, on black and white, I go pretty strong. I go like maybe at like 0.61 and I'm going to add a bit of clarity. And check this out. It's making this a little bit brighter. Check it out. So one thing, it's important when you work with this tool that show edit points is on auto. On auto, what's really cool is that you see, as long as you're in a photo, you can see the edit point, but as soon as you go out of the photo, it disappears, and you can appreciate the photo without that circle. And I can go like this, before and after, and I can see the change. Now I want to do something. I'm going to duplicate this value here, and I'm going to put it here on El Capitan. One thing I forgot to do, I did it, is to make sure that the feather is 100% and that it's inverted. If you don't have the feather 100%, check this out. What is going to happen is, it's going to look like this, which is really sort of not very natural. But if it's very feathered, then you don't see it. And invert, if you don't do invert, what's going to happen is that you're brightening everything but the circle. You don't want that, so I want to invert that. So forgot to mention that, very important. Okay, just a bit of exposure and a bit of clarity. Usually I do another one that I put right here because I want people to look in the middle of the photo like that. Okay? Then at this point, usually I add a bit of contrast to make it even more dramatic. And I take a little brush and I'm going to finalize it with a brush just like Ansel used to do. So I have a brush. make sure that my flow intensity is like in the 80 or 90. I add a bit of exposure. I add a bit of clarity. And I'm just going to bring more some details here and here. And the whole secret is not to do it too much. You do it just a little bit. So, okay, you can hardly see it. Check it out. Before, after, you can hardly see it. But now I'm going to create a new brush with the same value, and I'm going to do another pass at it. So you go, pass by pass, if I can say. But not everywhere. Not everywhere. That's what dodging and burning is all about. It's local. It's localized. It's partially done. It's not done everywhere. That's what makes the photo really cool. Okay. And voila, I'm kind of happy with the result. Of course, there is a couple of sensor dust I got on this photo, so I'm just going to erase it really quick just to finish this off using the spot hitting brush tool. And you can, when you go here, you can even click here to visualize spot and see if there's any spot that I missed. I don't know if that's a spot. Let's just get rid of that. You never know. Okay, cool. And check this out. This is an homage to Ansel Adams, the tunnel view. Now, I'm from Paris, so let's do a Paris photo. So this is the Pont Neuf. So this is the same thing, a long exposure I did back at the Pont Neuf. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to, this one is so dark that, you know what, I'm going to open the shadows first, maybe do a bit of exposure, bring down a little bit of highlights. Then I'm going to go to black and white so I see what I'm doing. See, it's very washed out. It's ugly. It's ugly. It's ugly. So, but first, let's go to the black and white mixed and let's see what we can do. Let's see here. The blue is the sky. Yeah, doesn't do really much. Okay, I remember there was a lot of yellow and orange because of the filter that I used. So, okay, not much I can do here. Let's play around with the white balance. Yeah, maybe let's make it a bit darker. But you see, not much. That happens often. That's why the local tools come so handy. So same thing. We take the gradient tool. We lower the exposure. We don't do clarity. So you can just double click on effect. Puts everything down to 0. And, oh, by the way, guys, I forgot to tell you, if you like this, I have a new book that comes out called Photography Essential. It's got some of my best photography for the last 15 years. I show you which camera I used, what was my shutter speed, what was my ISO, everything. All my secrets revealed in this book. This book comes with a masterclass that you can watch for free and get the book for free at the end, the digital version. Just click the link under the video. You're going to love it. All right, so back to what we're doing. On this one, so I'm going to just make the sky darker. So remember, I do 2 passes. One first pass that's pretty large and another one that's pretty just for the top. And then I'm going to make another one, a third one. So 3 gradients all the time. Okay, now it's starting to look like something. I'm going to add some more contrast, but I think I want to do the magic of the circle. So I'm going to take a circle here. I'm going to make this a circle there. I'm going to invert it, feather it, and make sure a bit of exposure and a bit of clarity is there. Maybe a little more on this one. Voila, I love this place. This is the spot I think I shot the most in the last 15 years. I just love that bridge. It's just, it's so beautiful. The leading line from the bridge. So, right, same thing. I duplicate this, and I just place it around. You see, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for places like, look at this building here. The gray is kind of the same, so I'm going to move this to there, and voila. Move this to there, and then I'm gonna. So now what's going to happen? Let me just make it on never. So you see what's happening now? It goes from gray to a bit brighter down to gray again. It makes it more complex. It complexifies the light. Also, I want, I'm going to put this back on auto. I want people to look inside of my photo. So I'm going to make one big one here for the middle because I want people to look here inside. Maybe here. Voila. And then a little more, I like really contrasty black and white. Okay, that circle now is too much. And the good thing is that it's a non-destructive workflow, so I can just go here and I'm like, nah, you know what? Maybe let's just put this here. Or let's just put it here, but it's too strong. Let's just make it less strong on this one. Okay, and then I'm ready for the sort of final touch. This is a photo I shot years ago, but it's one of my best in black and white. I'm gonna take a little brush, double click on effect, add a bit of texture and clarity. Not texture, sorry, clarity and a bit of exposure. And I'm just gonna maybe make the Seine River a little bit brighter. How long was this exposure? 42 seconds at f22. Ooh, okay. And maybe you want to make this brighter a little bit, But and then you just do it pass by pass. Make sure your flow and density is really low, because if not, if you have flow and density 100%, let me do it a bit more. Well, with a new brush, it's going to be like very visible. You see, you don't want that. So to avoid that, you just have a flow and density pretty low, and then just paint a little bit here, a little bit there. Not everywhere. That's the key. Not everywhere. And then I can look back. I'm like, oh, that circle is way too strong. So I'm going to make it lower. You don't want people to see. Like, okay, I'll give you the test to know if you went too far or not. What you do is you do something else. Or the next time you see the photo, like the next day, if you're like, oh, did I dodge and burn this photo? Did I do my circle magic? And you're like, and for a second, you're like not sure. You know you did it right. If you're like, yeah, I can see it, then you know you've gone too far. So like, for example, here, I think I've gone too far. I've gone too far. So I'm going to lower this a little bit. I think I want to boost. I haven't done my black and white point. That's probably what's missing. So a little bit of black and a little bit of white. That adds a lot of contrast when you do that. Ooh, I've got to far. Check this out. White is strong. White strong. Maybe lower the contrast a little bit. Yeah. And this one is very noisy because it was shot with a Canon 5D. It's still pretty good. So, when it comes to noise, what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to do like maybe like 20 of noise reduction, about 80 of sharpening. I always like my noise reduction and my sharpening to be about 100, and then my masking around 50. Okay, and this one is pretty cool. Here we have some. I printed this photo. It actually prints really well. It's one of my favorite black and white. So just a little homage to Ansel Adams. I mean, look at the before and after in full screen. So that's the before. That's the after. Isn't that crazy? All right, guys, check out my book. You're going to love this. You're going to learn so much. It comes with a free masterclass. It's under the video, and I'll see you in the next video. Au revoir.